you all had awesome week. And uh, so today we will be having an excellent session. Prem will be presenting today's session. Yeah, all of you know Prem is multi-talented, and he's one the main instrument behind starting the PSSM Canada with the advice of Patriji has sown the seeds of PSSM Canada with the sole intention of spreading the meditation here in Canada, the breath meditation, Anapanasati with the PSSM. He has gone through all those processes, a lengthy process of incorporating the organization, going through that. He is not an expert, but then he learned, figured out, and created a website for PSSM Kenda. If you haven't seen, please visit. And he also, for the past 3, 4 years, as you know, he's been creating the flyers, sending the Zoom sessions for weekly meditation sessions and recording and editing, publishing those videos. A lot of work behind the scenes. And today's he'll be presenting the topic on the great Guru Gautama Buddha. Everybody knows who Gautam Buddha is, and he's also one of the Shavtaras of Mahavishnu, and his great inspiration for all of us to do the meditation, to do the dhyana. Without further delay, I'll give it to Prem. And it's a great coincidence again that we have just recently celebrated the Buddha Purnima. And today we are having a session on Gautam Buddha, so which Prem thought it will be quite appropriate to do its on right time. So welcome, Prem. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Anu, for that wonderful words. Especially coming from my wife is even more better. Today it's as Anu said, it's a great coincidence. This is not the first time. This is the third time we are having this coincidence. Because when we were talking about Ramana Maharshi, it fell in his, I think, Jayanti time. And then when we were talking about Sri Ramanujacharya, it was on the same week as Ramanujacharya's, I think, Jayanti, if I'm correct. And then a Buddha Purnima, just on May 12th, we had Buddha Purnima, and today we are talking about Buddha Purnima. That's really awesome. So before I start my talk about Gautama Buddha, just wanted to mention that Gautama Buddha is not his real name. I mean, the initial name that came to him was this Siddhartha Gautama. That was his name given by their parents. But later on, it became Gautama Buddha. And I'm going to tell you the transition from Siddhartha Gautama to Gautama Buddha and how it happened. So if I may just share my screen once, give me a second, please. And let me know if you're not able to see or if anything is not visible.
And anybody who wants to have camera, that will be great to see you as well.
Awesome. So
It's coming up. We can see now.
Okay, do you see the screen? Awesome. Okay, so welcome once again, everyone, to PSSM Canada's Gurus of India series. Today, just after a day or two after the Buddha Purnima, we are talking about the Buddha. To start with, Siddhartha Gautama was born in the year 1480 BCE. That's about 5th century BCE. Let's see what is Buddha. What is the meaning of Buddha first? So, Buddha means an enlightened being, one who attained perfect understanding and freedom from suffering. So, this is what Buddha means. Buddha means one who has transcended his intellect. So, Bhu means Buddhi. Buddhi means, I'm sure you all know, which means intellect, right? And Dha means Dadha, which means above. So one who is above the intellect or one who is above the mind or conquered the mind is Buddha. So that's how he got this name Buddha. So if you are above the mind, it is a Buddha. On a lighter note, if you are below the mind, you are a Buddhu, right? Mindless means Buddhu. I mean, this is just on a lighter side. So, as I was saying, the birthplace of Buddha is Lumbini, which was at that point, which is today in Nepal. So, and he was born to actually the dynasty under which he was born is called Sakya dynasty. His parents were, you may or may not know, is Suddhodana, his father, and Maya was his mother. Then, before even Buddha, Gautama Buddha or Siddhartha Gautama was born, since his father being a king, he had lot of ministers and lot of gurus in his kingdom. So one of the yogis came up to Suddhodana and said, "Hey, you will have a son, but that son is such a glorious person that he can either become an emperor or he will become a sage, a great sage." So, being a king, he never wanted his son to be a sage, right? So, Shuddhodana, right from the beginning, even before he was born, he made up his mind that he's not going to expose his son to any kind of suffering or any kind of miseries. So, the moment Siddhartha Gautama was born, the king Shuddhodana ensured that he had all the luxuries in his life, gave him the best pleasures in life, gave him the best food, best clothes, best environment to live in, and ensured that he was never exposed to suffering, never exposed to misery. He was under the false impression that if at all Siddhartha is exposed to this kind of misery and suffering, he will divert himself and become a sage, which he never wanted. So, right from his young ages, he ensured that the school he sent him to was all nice and luxurious with pleasure. So, Siddhartha, right from his childhood, was experiencing all these luxuries. All his schools were well equipped, and he never had a chance to see any kind of suffering around him or any misery. So this went on for a quite some time until Gautama Buddha became a teenager and late teens. And by then, his father was sure that my son is equipped with all the skills he needs for a prince to become a king. So he was extremely happy with what was happening with his son. And then by the time Siddhartha became 19 years, he thought, okay, this is a good time for him to get married. So that's when he found a very beautiful girl called Yashodhara, who was incidentally a princess as well. She was the daughter of Supabuddha and Amita of Ichchavaku dynasty. So he went, Suddhodara found this girl. They both of them got married, and they had a wonderful early married life. So then Shuddhodana made ensured that they have a separate palace secluded from all the sorrows and miseries of the world. And kept them in that, and Gautama and Yashodhara were enjoying their early married life. But you know what? Teenage or 19 years is still late teenage, right? Um, Gautama started thinking, hey, I'm a grown up man now. I'm also married. So I want to explore the city. How long will I be in the palace under my father's shelter? So I want to go out and explore what's happening around. So one day he calls his charioteer and says, hey, now it's time for me. I need to go out and explore and see how the world looks. I've seen enough of palace and I've stayed enough in my palace with all these luxuries around me. Then the charioteer couldn't say no because he's after all a prince, right? So one fine morning, he started going out. Then the moment Gautama for the first time stepped out of his palace, he accidentally came across an old man. And then Gautama said, hey, who is this person? Why is having so wrinkled faces? Why is he having saggy hands and not able to walk? What happened to him? Why is he holding a stick? What happened to him? Then the charioteer says, Sir, oh my lord, this is old age. He is a very old man. And old age is something everybody has to face. Then Gautama says, Hey, I'm a prince. Why do I get old age? Then he says, Sir, it's not like you being a king or a prince or a queen. Doesn't matter. Everybody in this world who is born has to get old. And then Gautama was very disappointed and very astonished to see old people in the street. Then he said, Okay, let's go further. Then they started going further. Then he saw a sick young man. He was extremely sick. He was coughing, he was shivering, he was not able to walk and crying with pain. Then Gautama asked, Hey, this guy is not old. What happened to him? Why is he not able to walk? Why is he not able to, be like me? Then he said, Oh, unfortunately, though this guy is a young guy, he is sick. He is suffering with a disease. Then Gautama looks at the charioteer and says, What do you mean disease? Will I get a disease when I'm old or when now anytime? Then he says, Yes, sir, disease is something you can never expect. Anybody can get it. It's not just a common man, even a king prince like you can also get a disease. Then Gautama was really, really astonished and felt so depressed that what am I learning after coming out of my luxurious palace? What am I seeing? The whole world is full of misery and sorrow. Then he says, Okay, let's move further. Then the charioteer takes him further, and then he sees a funeral. And then once he sees a funeral, then again he asks his charioteer, Why are these people carrying something on their shoulders? Where are they taking that thing? He doesn't know it's a dead body, right? So he's asking, Where are they going? And they are all crying and following him. Then he says, Sir, this man is dead. He has no life in him. What do you mean dead? Says, Yes, sir. Every person who is born has to die one day. This is the basic fact of life. Whatever luxuries you have, whatever pleasures you have in this world does not last long and you don't carry any of them. So, this man, though he had a very promising life, he is not alive anymore. He's dead. So, what are they doing with the dead man? Then he says, Sir, they are taking him to the cremation ground. Since he can't walk and talk, they are taking him on their shoulders. Oh, okay. So, what are they going to do there? Then he said, Then the charioteer says, Hey, they will take him there and cremate the body. Oh, they will, you mean burn the body? Yes, sir, they will cremate the body. Then he was really surprised and very, very, very unhappy and says, Oh, Gautama was completely disturbed by and his whole dreams got shattered hearing what the charioteer says. And then now he says, Okay, I can't see this misery anymore. Take me back to the palace. And then he comes back to the palace. And then, ever since he came back to the palace, he's always been his thoughts for some time and said, What am I doing? Just enjoying these luxuries, enjoying these pleasures. All this is nonsense. What am I doing uh, by just staying in this palace and not trying to understand what this life is all about? Then he made up his mind and said, Look, this is a big question I have. I have to find a way. I have to find what is the essence of this life. And then few days passed, and then, he was still thinking about back of his mind. He was always thinking about his trip outside the palace. And then one day his gave birth to a beautiful baby. And then they were really so happy again. And then he tried to slowly forget about what he saw. But then at the back of his mind, it was still torturing him that there is something going wrong in all these things, and he has to find a way. So then, one fine night, when his son was almost a year or so, he slowly sneaked out of his bedroom and saw his wife and son just turned and saw them and for one last time and said, Hey, I'm sorry, I'm going now, but I will come back and have an answer to all these questions about life. At this point, he determined that he has to find a way and get answers to all these questions. Then he went from school to school. And at this time, in those days, there were about 1,800 different schools, different school of thoughts for yoga and enlightenment. So there were ample information, ample knowledge available for, enlightenment and the spiritual growth. But, he started trying one after the other, one after the other. But he never was satisfied with what was happening and he never got answers to any of them. Then, for the first time, Gautama Buddha met, not Gautama Buddha yet, he's still Siddhartha Gautama, met a spiritual guru called, it's here, Alara Kalama. This was his first spiritual guru. So he went to him and says, Guruji, I have all these questions in my mind. I need an answer. Then the Guruji immediately realized this person is not normal. This person is something really spiritual and an evolved soul. So he taught whatever he could to him. And then when he started learning, the Gautama Siddhartha learned the overcome the sphere of nothingness. So he was able to focus and he entered the sphere of nothingness. But then that didn't answer his questions. He still had various other questions on life, essence of life, and things like that. Who am I? And things like that. Then he left him and said, thank you so much for your teachings, but I have to leave and find my own way. Then he started walking again. He is called as an he used to walk a lot. So he's an ascetic monk, a person who keeps walking and learning things across his life. Then he met another spiritual guru called Udaka Ramaputra. So he stayed with him for some time, started learning about various yogic practices to get enlightenment. But again, Buddha being Buddha, he was not happy. He wanted to explore more and get answers for his own. Then again, he started walking school to school and learned whatever came across. He built his knowledge so much. Then he also pursued the 8 different forms of sadhana, samadhi rather, 8 different forms of samadhi. And then he practiced them rigorously, but still he was not satisfied. He just said, okay, these are all wonderful experiences, but I'm still not, don't know what I'm looking for, and I don't have answers. Then he became a samana for some time. A samana is like a person, who never craves for anything. He never asks even for food, you know. They keep walking from town to town, city to city, just walking. A samanas, their fundamental um, um, principle is that never ask for anything. If anything comes to you, take it, but never ask for anything, even food. So because of this fundamental concept, but fortunately in those days, there were so many samanas, so many people following this practice. So the common man knows, and they always used to offer food to the samanas. Whenever anybody passed without them asking, they gave food and they ensured that, they were nourished. But Buddha was different. He was going in jungles, walking in various places, learning new things. He was an ascetic monk, right? So he kept on doing this for like years. And then he was just left with a bag of bones, bones and skin, nothing else. Then one fine morning, he was walking and came across a river called Niranjana. This is a river which he then thought, okay, I need to cross this river. It was not a very deep river, it's just a shallow river, 18 to 20 inches maybe, but the water were really rapid flow of water. So then he started, he being a bag of bones, very skinny person, he said, okay, let me try to cross this river. But then he tried to cross, he slipped and fell. And fortunately for him, he held on to a branch, and then he just held on and he went into deep meditative state. And that's when he he realized, something very, very, very important. You can call it as a light bulb moment. At that point, he realized, what is it that I am striving for? Why am I traveling all over the country, learning whatever I can, and still not getting what I'm looking for? That was the light bulb moment. Then he realized there's really nothing in this life. Life is just on, on. All I must do is just take away the barriers. You have a life. You just go on and on. But unless you take out the barriers in life, they won't allow you to experience. The moment you have barriers, like you could have anything, a lot of barriers that mind, puts them on you. If you have these barriers, they stop you from exploring a lot of things. I came to Canada, right? If I had barriers in my mind, I wouldn't have come to Canada. I just took a chance. I just let myself go and I came here. So that's how, the barriers can be eliminated. So then he realized there's nothing in this life, it's just on. So all I must do is remove all the barriers and allowing to experience them. And when he realized this, everything he gained started gaining energy automatically, you know. And then he realized basically what he realized is nothing but aham brahmasmi. So when he realized everything is within him, that is nothing but aham brahmasmi, and that there is nowhere to search but to search within. This is so wonderful, right? And suddenly, once he got this realization that everything is within him, he started gaining energy. And then he started taking one step after the other step, one step after the other step. And then he successfully crossed the river and went and sat under a tree. That tree is nothing but Bodhi tree, which is today called, which is in Bodh Gaya. So that is a tree where he sat for like 5, 6 years, meditated very, very strongly in deep vibrations and did not even open his eyes. And he was determined, saying, look, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to find all answers to all the questions, and then only I will open my eyes. Come what may, I'm not going to open my eyes. So this was his resolve. That is what is lacking in most of the common people, the resolve. If you have the resolve, determination, you can do anything. So that's what he decided, and then sat there for 4 or 5 years meditating without even opening eyes. When this was happening, people around him started thinking, oh my God, this person is an avatar Purusha. He's been sitting there, no season, every season, no food, nothing. He's been closed his eyes for so many years, just doing meditation or tapas. Then everybody started gathering, people started following him, hoping that this person is almighty or this person is an avatar Purusha. And then they followed him, and they were just all waiting for him to open the eyes and give out the Vedic words or whatever, the spiritual discourses. Then days passed by, he never opened his eyes, and one fine morning on a full moon night, which was May 12th of this month, suddenly he opened his eyes. By then, there were a lot of followers, lot of disciples of Buddha, without even knowing that who he was. And then Buddha was opened his eyes. That's when he became a Buddha. So he conquered his mind basically. And then, you know what? Surprisingly, the moment he opened his eyes, everybody were expecting that he would start telling all, godly words and about what's going to happen to the world, what's going to happen to everyone. But then he saw everyone and said, it's been a long time I have not eaten. Can someone cook food for me and let's eat? This was the words that he said after, meditating for so many years. And because he's evolved, I mean, he knows what it is, right? And he knows what he needs at that point so that he can start spreading the word. So then everybody were shocked and said, what kind of a monk he is? We were expecting that he would say something great, but he's asking for food. He's asking us to cook something for him. And then some people started leaving him. The people who were there with him for all the torture he was facing, now when the real time comes when he's enlightened, they started leaving him, unfortunately. But then there were a lot of other people who still followed him. And one fine day, Buddha took a nice shower in the river bank and walked to the tree and sat under the tree. And at that time, there was a very famous astrologer, He also came to the river, took his shower, and he was walking in out of the river bank, and he saw these footprints. I forgot to change the slides. Yeah. Then he saw these footprints, and he said, in this person, being an astrologer, he can read the footprints and say who they are. I think I'm taking a lot of time, right, Anu?
Yeah, it's already 9:31 if you want to
Yeah,
come to the teachings.
I will quickly go. So I'm so lost in telling the story about Buddha. So then he sees the footprint and says, this must be an emperor here around. These footprints are of an emperor. Then he goes to then he follows the footprints, goes to Buddha, and finds this man sitting under a tree with a monkly dress and nothing in his hand, and said, am I fooled? Is this the person I'm looking for? I thought I would see an emperor. Then he asks, who are you? He says, Gautama says, I am nobody. What do you mean you are nobody? I thought you are an emperor. I thought you would conquer people. Yes, of course, I am an emperor. But I don't conquer people, I include them. And Gautama said, look, when you are nobody and when you are nothing, that's when you can be whatever you want. But if you are something, already something, then you can't be anything else other than that something, right? I hope you get my point. So, being a nobody or being a nothing opens the doors to become everything. Whereas if you are something, it limits yourself. So, basically, the concept is be boundless, be open. That's the concept. So, I will stop about the story now and quickly go through some of the teachings of Gautama Buddha. At this point, the astrologer turned into or takes refuge in Buddha after hearing all this. And this is a mantra in Pali, which most of you might know already. It's Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. It basically means that I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma, and I take refuge in the Sangha, in the community. So that's the basic essence of this meaning. And there are the basic concept of Buddha was about the four noble truths and the eightfold path. Okay. Before jumping into the four noble truths, I would like to mention one thing very quickly. Um, uh, Whenever there is a suffering, there is always happiness. It can be one by itself. There cannot be suffering by itself. If you have suffering, there is happiness. If you have daylight, there must be night. If you go up, you have to come down, right? If there is left, there is right. If there is Shiva, there is Shakti. So basically, there is always two ends. If you start something, you have to end something. So there is always, two-prong effect of anything. So since coming back to the four noble truths, the first one is the truth of suffering. The first noble truth says there is suffering in this world. So when there is suffering, there has to be happiness. There is dukkha means there is sukha also. So that's one of the first. You have to realize that there is suffering in this world. That is the first truth. And then the second truth of the cause of suffering. So there are sufferings, If you just keep suffering without knowing the cause of the suffering, you can never solve it. So know what's the cause of the suffering. And the next one is the truth of end of suffering. So once you know the cause of suffering, you know the end of suffering also, how to end your suffering. And then comes the path towards ending of suffering. That is the eightfold path. So again, the eightfold path is divided into three major headers. The wisdom, the piece related to wisdom is, right view. Right view in the sense, understanding the four noble truths. That is the right view. You need to have a clear understanding what is the suffering, what is happiness. A clear view. That is called right view. Then right intentions, cultivating a positive, wholesome intentions like compassion, kindness, and non-harming, right? That's about the wisdom you have. And then about the ethical conduct. What is ethical conduct? Here you have three different types. Right speech, speaking truthfully, gently, avoid harmful words, right? And then right actions, engaging in the ethical conduct, which is very important, right? Avoiding actions like killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. So these are basically the ethics, ethics of a human life. And then right livelihood, earning a livelihood through honest and non-harmful means. These are so far I've covered five um, paths, right, to eliminate suffering. And then mental discipline. This is the most important. Right effort. So developing and maintaining a positive state of mind while avoiding harmful ones. So that's very important. Here we are talking about meditation and spirituality. And the right mindfulness, paying attention to the present moment, observing your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. This is the right mindfulness. And then lastly, the Eightfold Paths ends by saying right concentration, which is nothing but cultivating a single pointed focus or, meditation. And we all do that. And I'm so happy that we are in the path of, spiritual evolution by doing meditation. So this is what I wanted to share. And before I quickly stop my little presentation, I just wanted to leave you with some food for thought. Live in the present. Happiness blooms when you let go of your past and future. Practice compassion, helping others bring joy to your heart. Embrace simplicity. True contentment comes from needing less, not having more. Detach from desires, let go of attachments, and find peace within. Cultivate gratitude, appreciate the small blessings in life. Meditate daily. A calm mind leads to a happy soul. Follow the middle path, the middle path, not too high, not too low. Balance is the key to lasting happiness. Thank you all for your time, and I will return it back to Anu.
Thanks, Prem, for the wonderful presentation, and it's really good to know, you know, the things, facts about Gautam Buddha and his journey. We are close to 9:40, so we will start meditation today, and then after the meditation, if anybody has any questions, we can probably go through them. So we are practicing the breath meditation. Again, Gautam Buddha gave us a beautiful meditation process, which we call as Anapanasati. Ana is our in breath, Apana is our out breath. Sati is just to observe your the natural breath. So we don't have to chant, we don't have to pressure breathe pranayama techniques. It's a simple observing a natural rhythm of breathing. Our breath is our teacher, and please sit comfortably in a comfortable position. Padmasana, Sukhasana, even Siddhasana, whatever you can sit comfortably. And please clasp your hands and close your eyes. Keep your eyes closed during the meditation process, and we are just observing our natural breath. When you get a thought, gently acknowledge the thought, and bring your awareness back to the rhythm of breathing. So slowly you can see the volume of thoughts will reduce. Let's meditate. The technique is very simple. We are just observing our breath. Gratitude attracts abundance, self-love, and universal love. With this expanded consciousness, receiving all these high energy vibrations, we come back to the present moment. Travel from world inside you to the world around you, the outer reality. Slowly bring your hands together. Place them on your eyes for a few seconds. Express your gratitude to Mother Earth, the Great Master Buddha, and to this awesome group. Love and light to everyone. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining today's session. If anybody has anything to say, any questions to Prem, you can please unmute yourself. Hope it
Thanks,
not makes
Garu.
you sleep.
Yeah, it was nice to hear about Buddha on the and also the Buddha Purnima was on Monday, so it was nice to hear about him. Coincidentally, yesterday, and I think day before yesterday, my parents were in Lumbini, Nepal. So
Oh,
Wow,
they shared
nice.
pictures, and then I saw your flyer, so I was excited to hear about Buddha as well. So it
that's
was
nice.
That's
nice.
wonderful. That's wonderful, Madhavi.
Yeah.
In fact, I went to Nepal actually and got a last when we went to Kumbh Mela. Actually, myself and Prem went to the Buddha's enlightenment place, Buddha Gaya as well. Yeah, it's a nice. That's great that.
In fact, I have a video that I forgot to share. Maybe some other day I'll share it.
Yeah.
If, yeah, if you're interested, anybody who have time, like a couple of minutes, we can share. Like you're okay.
Prem Garu, I have a suggestion for you.
Sure.
Your session was going on as if you were a storyteller and we are all kids listening till you realized that you're running out of time. So my suggestion only would be like, like if certain gurus, if it is taking like more than the anticipated time, maybe we can break it into two sessions.
Good idea. Yeah, certainly
Yeah.
that's a very good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about him,
Yes,
especially
certain
Bud-
gurus. Yeah.
Buddha's stories are so popular. In fact, I have a couple of stories that I wanted to share, but there was no time at all.
We wouldn't mind if you continue this session for the next one too.
Yeah, thank you so much for the feedback. Sure, I'll
Yeah.
consider that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, your narration was pretty good, Prem Garu. I was almost like deeply involved into that. I was almost like visualizing what exactly was happening, the conversations between Buddha and the other the bank.
Charioteer,
It,
yeah.
it was very
Yeah, I
nice.
was literally seeing like a movie in, in my mind.
Yeah, pretty much your narration was like amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, and
Satyavali,
I also want to add that it was very, very, very engrossing. I didn't want it to stop, although we were running out of time. And yeah, I hope you take the suggestion that, we can continue part two next
yeah,
time.
surely. Maybe we have lined up for a few weeks now with various speakers. So maybe after that, yes, I will certainly consider that.
revisit. Yeah,
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, I think it's already 10, 10, 10, 12 now. If
yeah,
anybody has anything, please mention. Otherwise, we can meet again next week
yeah.
with a
If you
new
happen to go
guru.
to Buddha Gaya, actually meditate under the Bodhi tree. It's really, really powerful. It's a very powerful spot. Like there's like so many monks sitting around, hundreds of monks, and there's a continuous chanting going on. It's just a different vibrations. The Buddha Gaya in the Bihar actually. So if you
Yeah,
happen to go there, spend time meditating in under the Bodhi tree.
it was a very
It's
powerful
beautiful.
space. I
Yeah,
mean, it took us like few seconds or minutes maybe get into
yeah.
the meditative state. It It was very nice.
So that tree is really surviving. I mean, the original trees, saplings, they kept on going. So still, there you can see that beautiful tree there, Bodhi tree. So yeah.
Yeah, in fact, that's what's the video I had. Yeah, Tanaya, you unmuted?
Yeah, so Buddha Gaya, that's like very close to my home, but I
Oh,
never like heard of it or went there. But my parents, they went like recently 2, 3 times. So I just added to my list. Next time when I visit, I'll go there.
oh, that's very nice.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
it's a beautiful place to go. So you are from Bihar, is it, Tanaya?
It's Jharkhand now. I'm from
Jharkhand.
Jamshedpur. Yeah.
Okay, okay, nice. Okay.
Even my
Yeah,
in-laws, they visited from Udupi, like they visited recently, just a week ago. Even though it was so hot and summer days, but they really liked the ambience and everything. They were just telling.
that's good. That's
Nice,
good. Yeah, it's worth a place to visit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
okay.
Thank you
Okay,
all
thanks
once
everyone.
again. We'll meet again next week with a new guru and a new speaker.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Have
night.
a
Thank you.
wonderful long
Thank you.
weekend, everyone. Enjoy.
Yeah, thank you. Good
Yeah,
night.
I wish
Bye.
you the
Good
Good
night.
same.
night.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.